All right, welcome race fans to round 8 of the Flattrack Canada Nationals here in Woodstock. Now we're going to be doing some shots around the pits here. You can see people cutting their tires, getting everything already set up on their bikes, getting their gear out. We're going to take a hot lap with Fast Freddy Dejanot, number 24 from Quebec, here in just a minute. Alright, so this is going to give you a first-hand view. This is a GoPro chest mount on Fast Freddy Dejanot, number 24 out of Quebec. This is a heat race that was going on earlier in the day, but we figured we'd give you a first-hand perspective what really is going on. You can see how they're kind of pitching the bike into the corners. The track's really wide. It's about 30 feet wide, lots of room for passing. As you see, Evans goes by Fast Freddy here. And what you can hear is the constant amount of sandstone. It's banging off the GoPro case here. I mean, we're moving at a quick speed. We're in like 70, 80 mile an hour territory in the corners here, so you're getting constant bruises up and down your arms. But that's our hot lap, and we're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back. All right, everyone. Kyle Shepard from Outlaw Productions. I'm standing here with the famous John Parker, the number 11, riding all these wicked-looking Kawasaki machines here at Woodstock for Round 8 of Flattrack Canada. Now, John, you've got a little bit of history behind you. How many years have you been doing this for?
We're just finishing off our 48th year. We started originally with go-karts back in the 60s, and then a little bit of motocross. I've been racing flat track since about 73, 74. Turned expert in 76.
What got you into flat track in the first place?
Back in those days, you could use the same bike for motocross, flat track, ice racing. We used to just change wheels around, and you'd ride a flat track Friday night and go motocross on Sunday. That's the way it was back then. But we also had an awful lot of riders on the start line for motocross, and a lot of us made the jump to flat track if we felt comfortable and we were good at it. We just, as one thing led to another, made the move and never looked back.
Now, what's the most interesting part of flat track to you?
The most interesting part, obviously, the racing itself. It's competitive, and certainly if you're blessed enough to be good at it, you know that you take that competition and you really enjoy it. You know, you enjoy racing with the other guys. Obviously, winning's a good part of that. That's pretty important. But like I say, just having fun and never losing sight of enjoying riding.
Now, obviously, with these great-looking Kawasaki machines you got here underneath this Kawasaki 10, why don't we talk a little bit about your sponsors and your backing for this year?
As always, my sponsorship is with Kawasaki Canada. They've been with me for going on 8 years now, and it's all channeled through the boys at English Cycle in London. Between the two of them, that's what makes sure that I have these bikes, and they're behind me 100%. Kawasaki's one of the few manufacturers in this country that actually really actively supports dirt track, and they really like what we're doing and what's going on with dirt track. Other than that, we've got hot cams, Scorpion helmets, Decal Works, Vertex pistons. All these guys support us. We've got a few financial supporters as well, like Jim Garrett from Garrett 64. He sponsors us. We've got a lot of support that allows us to keep going.
Now, being a team manager, owner, and rider yourself, I mean, playing mechanic, what's it like for you to be doing all these different roles?
Don't get a lot of sleep. My days are very long. We work on these things every day. This isn't a part-time thing where we just put them away and pull them out on the weekends. These bikes are worked on 365 days a year. We build all our own stuff. We do all our own motor work. We don't job out anything. We are the only team that does everything ourselves, and that leads to a lot of hours. We've got 5 bikes in the stable, all used for different tracks and different purposes, and it's a lot of work. I've got my family helping me, my wife, Dawn, and her parents. They travel with me, help me in the shop at home. It's a family business.
For sure. Now, how many more years do you see yourself doing this for?
If I had to answer that, I would have already given up and quit. I have no intention of stopping. all you're going to see is that I re-engineer it and adjust it to fit my age and my competitive nature and how I feel. I mean, I still feel competitive, and I still am. Sometimes I'll play the vet card like at Wellens and ride the vet class, but certainly all the half miles you're going to see me riding the pro class for now.
Right on. Well, John Parker, the number 11, riding these wicked-looking Kawasaki bikes. Okay, everyone, I'm standing here with Trent Pickle, the number 98 in the novice class. Now, Trent, we both had a little bit of a rough go there at Leamington-Wheatley weekend. I hit the bales, you had a motor malfunction. I mean, what are we going to be doing to go out there and be banging bars today?
Well, I don't know. We're just going to try our hardest and try to stay to the bottom and not hit the bales. And, yeah.
Now, I'm 25. Trent, how old are you?
I'm 13.
I mean, how long have you been doing this for?
Well, I rode when I was 4 in a field behind my grandma's house. And I just developed from there, and I started racing when I was 7.
I guess it can go to show you that in the age of flat track racing, it doesn't matter how old or young you are, you can get into this sport really easy. Now, I've only been doing it for 2 seasons. You've been doing it for a crazy amount of time. How much longer do you see yourself doing this for, Trent?
Well, I'm planning on until I'm old and can't control the bike anymore.
Well, I'm sure we'll get motors on our wheelchairs then anyways, right?
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, well, everyone, keep an eye out for that number 98 of Trent Pickle in the novice class. All right. Well, obviously I'm not going to walk around the pits for the whole day, so caught Aaron Hesmer driving around this. What kind of machine is this?
It's a Yamaha Rhino.
Well, we can go with that answer. Now, obviously with Flattrack Canada, we have a lot of people helping us out this year. Why don't we talk a little bit about, who brought this out and what they're doing for us?
It's the Power Garage. They're local here to Woodstock, and they do a great job. They have a 20x20 booth, and they're an exclusive sponsor for the event. So go support them. They've supported us for today and making things easier for us.
Right on. So if you want to get any cool UTV, ATV, or if you just need general work done, be sure to check them out. All right, everyone, standing here with the number 53, Don Taylor, in the Woodstock pits. Now, Don, you can see you're just doing a little bit of work here. We both had a little bit of a rough go at Leamington, so, I mean, from what happened there to where we are now, what have you been doing to strengthen up your knee? Because we noticed that you tweaked your knee a little bit. Tell us
Yeah,
about it.
you know what, I've been, took it easy for a few days. Knee's been, feeling good one day, a little sore the next. I went out motocrossing on Wednesday night just to, kind of give my body a shakedown, and I felt pretty good. So, it's still, I got to be careful the way I ride, and, I definitely don't want to have a repeat of Leamington, so definitely going to just be a little more safe riding with the way I plant my foot, and might have to turn it down a tad just to, worry about finishing the race more than anything.
Right on. Well, we can see you're already in the mix of the changing the oil on this sweet-looking KTM. You got the Harley bike out here today, too. How's that thing been treating you?
Good. We're going to give it a go today, and just got the motor back together, and everything's fresh, ready to go, so hopefully we have a good day.
Right on. Okay, well, we'll let you continue your work here, and we'll see you out on the track.
Thanks.
We're going to take this opportunity to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back. Okay, so moving into the first main event of the evening, we got our production frame intermediate classic, Dave Pouliot, the number 16 there, all the way from Quebec. And, it's great seeing the Quebec riders come down and contribute to this this series. The number 112, the Cody Marin-Rur, Dustin Lambert on the number 6, the number 17 of William Bellerose, another fellow Quebec rider, the number 23 Braden Valley, and the number 49 of Brody Bucking sitting on the outside line there. So a couple riders in the back there. We got Olsen, Orville, Rob Churchill, and you know what, this class is, it's getting bigger every time that we seem to watch it. So Mike's Alaska turning the green lights on, and these guys are already off into the first corner here. Getting a good drive is Dave Pouliot, and we can see that Rob Churchill has slid out in the back. We're going to try and get another angle of this so we can show everyone. We're going to go up top here to PJ, who's helping the Outlaw crew out. Much appreciated today. And you can see Rob Churchill just kind of slid out, just lost a little bit of control there. So he's on the track. These guys don't know it yet, but they're probably going to come around to a red flag, and then we're going to stop the race and get the restart going. And here we are on the restart. Mike Alaska getting all the riders' attention, pointing over to those green lights, and the green lights turn, and we are off. You got Dustin Lambert on the number 6 in the middle there, but Pouliot on the 16, you know, just making short work of the starts here, you know, getting a great drive and already taking off. As you can see, him starting to already gap out over second place over Lambert. And third spot, we got Cody and Brody kind of battling it out there. Valley's not too far off pace, sitting in 5th. And we're gonna pay attention as these guys come around the track. It's a little bit clustered up back there in the second, third, fourth spot. You know, those guys are gonna be battling it out. It's gonna be a good drive, good race, and we're gonna just watch and see how this all unfolds. You can see Pouliot's already starting to put a nice little gap on second place there. So once you get ahead a little bit, you don't want to overexert yourself. You want to ride, obviously stay in your groove, stay in your lines for what's comfortable for you. But Pouliot's, you know, he's an intermediate rider, more than likely going to be a pro rider next year. He's looking very strong, very comfortable when he's out there on the track. It's like we said before, you know, he comes all the way from Quebec. You'd expect him to be just really tired after that long journey, but it's obviously no exertion is being shown yet right now, so we'll have to pay attention to how he does in the intermediate open as well too. So Pouliot still sitting out front with a nice comfortable lead. We got Cody sitting number 112, sitting in 2nd, Buckman in 3rd, Lambert in 4th, Valley in 5th, and 17 of William Bellerose rounding out 6th. And these guys, they're all starting to kind of gap out. There's not as much of a draft for them to pick up any more extra speed. And Pouliot's he's just cooking around this track. And we have cut down this race just a little bit to keep the program time short because we obviously want to try and fit in as much as we can and keep the viewers happy and satisfied with what we're showing. And we're going to go down to a trackside shot here with Nick Becker, you know, watching that battle for 2nd, 3rd. And I don't think Buckin's going to be able to reel him in, but we're going to have to pay attention and see what unfolds here on this race. Pouliot still just holding his line, getting a nice drive off corner 2 there. Cody's sitting in 2nd, but he's got Brody just, you know, hunting him down there in the 3rd spot. And Brody might even have enough to get a little bit of a drive here for the last couple laps. Rob Churchill up and going. That's good to see after him sliding out. You know, you wouldn't think it hurts that bad, but you know, after you go for a quick little tumble there, it can definitely knock the wind out of you, and definitely throw you off your game when you're riding. But Pouliot, you know, he's showing consistency here. He's just running really strong, and he's only probably got about 2 laps to go as we look down and see that Mike Alaska's got the green and white out. So, you know, he's just gotta stay smooth and consistent now and finish up this race. And we're going to be moving on to our production frame expert class, and that's going to have a lot of action in it because our top 2 riders of Don Taylor and Tyler Seguin are going to be battling it out bar to bar for those points. You can see a lot of these riders getting in a full tuck 2 down the back straightaways. You know, once you get going in that top gear, you want to try and be as less wind resistant and get right into your full aerodynamics with your bike to just increase your times and your speeds going down these straightaways before you start braking hard in these corners. But it's going to be Dave Pouliot that's going to be taking the checkers for this one, and that's going to do it for the production frame intermediate class. Now, as Dave Pouliot goes out for his victory lap, we can see the expert riders kind of coming out of staging, getting the last final preps done of their bikes. So we're going to jump right into that race.
Okay, so for our production frame expert class, which is getting ready to roll here, you can see Caitlin Hesmer getting everyone lined up on the line. We're hopping on board with Don Taylor. Yeah, this is a new little feature we're going to be doing for our episodes now. And Mike Zalaska getting everyone to check out the lights, flipping the switch, and they're already off. Heading into the first corner, Don Taylor out by a little bit and seems to be holding it. We're just going to stay with Don Taylor here for a bit just so you can just get a full wrap of how the speed is. But you can see Tyler Seguin, he's pushing it up on the KBR bike out on the outside there. And these two, all season long, these are the two guys that you're going to be watching banging bars, going side by side, in and out. Seguin's going to start pushing for the inside here. Don's holding the throttle, getting that wheel up in the air. He's putting all that traction back on that back tire, so we got the rest of the field rolling through here. Not too far off pace, but you can already see that these two are pulling away. So Don's pushing it on the outside line around Seguin here. And yeah, he's just going to be putting as much traction on that rear wheel and you can see the front wheel comes up in the air there. He's just leaning right back. Seguin's a little bit lighter of a guy, so it's a little easier for him to get his bike back up to speed, where Don's got to just wait like that half a second longer just to get that KTM going. So, but as you can see, Don's very consistent holding his outside lines. Seguin tucks right back into the draft right behind him, but Nick Wensler, number 29, sitting in third spot, and then the rest of the pack just slowly starting to fall off pace here in a single file line. And now Donnie and Tyler, these guys are just battling it out, and Tyler's not letting them get too far away. Wensler has fallen off pace here a little bit. He's not too many bike lengths back. Any little mistake here could put him right back in the game, but you can just see Tyler's just trying to do everything that he can to stay with Donnie, but Donnie just keeps running that smooth outside line that he's known for. He can hold it on the outside, just keeps that throttle pinned in the way he goes. So not too much else happening in the back of the pack here, but we got Donnie and Tyler just still giving her out front. Donnie's starting to make a little bit of ground up on Tyler. Tyler's not giving up. Maybe he's waiting for a little bit, waiting for a mistake. I mean, that's a pretty common thing for us to be doing in flat track racing. You just you don't want to be pushing yourself, like overexerting. You want to save yourself for the last couple laps, obviously, of the main events, and then you also have the open events coming up later in the day here too. So Seguin's probably just going to hang back a little bit here. You can see Donnie's just rolling that throttle, getting right back on it, coming out of the corner smooth. Like, you don't want to be chopping throttle, getting sideways all over the place. It's not what you think. It's a nice, smooth, consistent pace of throttle, carrying it through the corners, and you can just see how Don's keeping it nice and smooth. And that's the way that you're going to be making faster time around these tracks. Now you got Mike Zalaska here just counting down the laps. And you can just see it's the Donnie and Tyler show right now. And Donnie just seems to be gapping out on Tyler just a little bit more each time. Donnie being our number one plate winner in the open class from last year, and Tyler being the number one plate winner in the CMA. These two guys just show a tremendous amount of talent. It's always great and fun to watch them both go out and race. I mean, there's a lot of talent in the rest of the pack too. I mean, there's Nick Wensler, Fast Freddy, even John Parker, Rick Gumby are all out there. The Monroe. It's something that you have to see for yourself. I mean, obviously with more events that we're traveling around to in southern Ontario, it's just something that you have to really come out and experience and to fully understand how fast it is that everyone goes on these half miles. It is actually mind-blowing. But we got our final lap flag out here. Mike Zalaska just showing Don Taylor. You got one more round to go. So here we are. We're gonna hop on board here with Don Taylor. We're going to let you guys all enjoy this last lap here, because it doesn't look like too much is going to happen here unless something gets loose for Donnie. And Mike Zalaska waving that checkered flag, so it's Don Taylor, Tyler Seguin, and Nick Wensler rounding off our top three in the production frame expert class. Now, as it is tradition, we got Don Taylor coming around, grabbing his checkered flag. He's going to go out for a little victory lap. And what's pretty common with these DTX bikes, because it's not a framer, the framers put a lot of suspension, hard suspension down to the track to get their traction that way. The DTX have a little bit more of a play, and it's pretty common for these guys to throw a little bit of a wheelie on the back straightaway here, and you can see Don, for sure, 100% he's going to throw it and let the crowd know it. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back. Okay, so it's time for our intermediate open class. A lot of these guys got to make up some points. You can see Valley getting squared up on his line up there. Nick's just kind of wandering around there, getting all the riders. William Belarus having a little bit of bike trouble there. Caitlin's just going to give him a minute there to get the bike going. All these other guys, that's got to be a little bit intimidating waiting. But we will be on board with Braden Valley, the number 23 rider, out here at Woodstock today. You're going to be waiting for the lights to turn green here. We will jump in on with him, and you'll get a front row seat to see what it's all about here. And you can see Pouliot getting that inside line drive again, doing real good. Braden Valley kind of getting the door shot on him, right behind Dustin Lambert there. Brody Buchan getting a wicked drive on the outside, going right around Cody on the 112 machine. And the top three riders here, these guys are going to keep it interesting for us. So don't count Brody out. He is sitting in third right now, but he's a strong little rider. As you can see, he's diving down the inside. He gets right almost onto the grass and right in the back of Pouliot's draft, and he's going to be chasing him down. Now Valley's coming down that straightaway, checking up into the corner one, sitting right behind Lambert there. So a pair of them are going to be battling it out for that fourth spot, and our top three riders, this is what's going to keep it interesting. So Cody might even fall back a bit there, get caught up with Lambert and Valley, but Buchan has got his sights set on Pouliot. He even makes the move down to the inside, and he gets by him. So now Pouliot's in the draft of Brody Buchan. We're going to go back here to Valley. Now obviously this time code is not to be exact, so don't worry, we're not trying to make anybody look slow here, but we will be showing as much as possible. But you can see Pouliot must have got by him as we were paying attention to Valley, but Buchan's not giving up. He's going to drive it hard into these corners now because he knows he can get ahead of him. So Pouliot getting a little bit too sideways there. Buchan getting a nice drive on the inside, going to tuck right back into that draft. Valley and Lambert still looking interesting here. Valley getting a good little drive, tucking, getting his full tuck, looking down. It may not be the best camera angle, but it's going to give you a full sense of how low these guys are trying to get with their bikes. But Buchan getting a wicked drive off corner two. Pouliot's got something cooking in that motor there because he's getting a little bit more drive out of the corners, but Buchan seems to be making up all of his time in the corners. Being light and small like that is going to give him a little bit of an advantage because the bike doesn't have to work as hard in the corners. Now, as we're sitting back here, you can't really see too many people up in front of Valley here, so he's gotten around Lambert. He's going to keep going as hard as he can to catch up to those top three riders. Buchan getting that drive again on the inside line, and he's ahead of him. But is he going to hold him? He gets right over in front of him. Buchan's taking off. Pouliot has let off the throttle just that hair, just to let Buchan get a little bit of a drive going. Pouliot going back down to the inside. Buchan holding a nice middle line, but coming right into the inside over to the grass there. Pouliot's getting a little sloppy, going all over the place there. Buchan takes full advantage of it and starts checking out. And Valley, he's not giving up either. You can see a hard charge coming up from him too. But Buchan, this race is all Buchan. You can see him barely having his foot down. You see a lot of the dirt flying off that rear tire. If you watch the inside of the bike, you won't see a whole lot coming off of their shoe. They got a metal shoe, help them slide into the corners, keep their balance. But at the same time, you don't really want to have your foot down. You want to pick it up because you're creating friction. You're going to be losing a little bit of time. It's not that much time, but it's enough to give that guy behind you a fair fighting chance to catch up to you. Buchan's now just trying to stay smooth and consistent in front of Pouliot. That's got to be exciting for sure for the youngster. But he is putting down some solid lap times, and this race may be Buchan's.
see him coming in corner 3 here, burning it in nice and hard, getting it a little bit sideways. Pouliot, he's not really going anywhere. He's just kind of sitting back. I don't know if this is a tactic for him to be doing this or what's going on. Cody's getting a little bit sideways, getting sloppy, but he's losing his track time there. And Valley's sitting in the 4th spot, still trying to hold on to the leaders, not letting them try to get too far away. But Buchan is just flying. He's just going right down this track. He wants the checkers flag. He's hungry for it. It'd be a great win for him, help him out in his points, make up for his unfortunate mishap at the start of the year at the Paris short track when he fell, injured his wrist, and had to take some serious time off. But it's great to see him back out here, putting that hard charge on, and letting everybody know I'm not giving up. So you can see Lambert's still sitting in behind Valley there, but taking that top spot today will be Brody Buchan, followed by Dave Pouliot and Cody Murray. Now Brody goes out for his victory lap. Now, as he's going out for his victory lap, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be back with our final race of the day. Welcome back, race fans. We got the Expert Open class here, the last race of the day here in Woodstock for round 8 of the Flattrack Canada Nationals. And we have Don Taylor pulling up on his sick-looking Harley. Now, a lot of these guys have custom framers. Some have 450 motocross style motors in them. Some of them have the full-blown Harley motors in them. John Parker pulling up here with his custom Kawasaki and Fast Freddy. You can see on his DTX bikes. There's a little bit of a mix-up between all the motors and the bikes of what people run, but it's pretty common that a lot of this stuff is just all really custom. So we got Don Taylor wearing the GoPro number 53 there, Fast Freddy Dejanot number 24, Tyler Seguin, he's also wearing the GoPro again. We had a great battle with him and Don, the DTX final. John Parker, the number 11, Nick Wensler, the number 29, and on the absolute inside, Brandon Seguin on the 19. So that's going to make up our front row here. And Mike Zalaska getting ready. They're hitting the switch, and they're gone. Tyler falls off pace immediately. It looked like he almost jumped. We're going to have to review that footage after we talk to him after the race here. But you can see Don Taylor just throwing the throttle down on the outside. Tons of spray going on. Nick Wensler sitting in first place there. That's not Tyler, that's Brandon Seguin sitting in third. John Parker in fourth right behind him. Tyler's about fifth, maybe sixth positions back. Don Taylor not wasting any time, cutting down on the inside, getting ahead of Wensler, and starting to take the lead. So we've got a little bit of work for Tyler Seguin here to catch back up to Don Taylor, but you can see the rest of the pack staying pretty close, third, fourth, fifth, and even sixth. They're pretty tight here as Don's already starting to pull away. We're going to hop on board with Tyler Seguin here. He's battling it out with John Parker. He's getting by John Parker here, and holy... these guys are moving so fast, it's really hard for us to keep our cameras on them, but you can see Don just railing that outside line. Wensler's just holding on. Seguin and Evans are kind of battling it out for the third spot right now, but we're going to take a little bit of a ride. Back with Tyler Seguin here as he's catching up to Evans already, so he's already caught up to third position. He's just making short work of the rest of the field there. He's probably really antsy to get back up there and battle it out with Don. I mean, it's got to be frustrating when you see a lot of the guys go around you at the start of the line there, thinking that you may have jumped, but there was no red flag dropped. So obviously, it's pretty apparent that Tyler didn't get the jump. He's going to be battling it out with Evans here, so we're going to just sit back and watch this because these guys are getting really close. Tyler almost on the grass on the inside line here. He's gonna brush out a little bit out to the outside here. Now, as far as we can tell, he got by Evans, but Evans came back up on the inside line there to get around them. Now, this is where it's gonna get really interesting. They're getting super close. You can almost reach out and touch Evans' back wheel. That's how close these guys are going. Remember, they are traveling at 78 miles an hour in these corners. Donnie almost losing the front end here.
That's a close call. We're going to have to take a quick instant replay on this. Now remember, that GoPro is on a chest mount, and if his chest was touching those handlebars, his head was over that front handlebar.
But as you can see, paying attention right to all the actions, Seguin's just trying to get by Evans. These guys are going to be battling it out in this corner here. Seguin's going to put the hammer down. He's just going to drive it as hard as he can out of this corner, try and get ahead of Evans. Evans will probably tuck in behind on that draft, but you can see Don Taylor's just now, he's starting to get his groove back. He's kind of running the more outside line, a little bit deeper cushion, and then driving it back in on the inside, getting back down to that smooth stuff to get his traction out of the corners. And you listen to the throttle on him, and it's a lot of patience that you gotta have running these bikes around these tracks. They're big, they're heavy, they twitch a lot. It's very easy to lose control, but these guys are just kind of making it look easy right now, as Don's got a nice comfortable lead up out front, and we're just going to be paying attention to him. We're getting a little sideways there, but let's go back and see. As we can see, Seguin has caught up to Wenzler, and we got a little bit of dirt on the camera. We apologize for that, but there's not much we can really do as these guys are blasting around the track at top speed. So Seguin's going to be doing everything he can to reel in Wenzler here before the final laps. We're getting pretty close to the end of it. Don's going into corner 3. Tyler and Wenzler are coming out of corner 2, so he's got pretty much a straightaways lead by the time that these guys are coming out of the corners. So Don really just now has to focus in on just running a smooth, consistent race to just finally take that spot. But you can see Seguin's just putting the hard charge on Wenzler here. He's hungry to make up for that time lost off the starting line there, and he's doing it in true fashion. He's just staying smooth and consistent, and we think he's gonna probably grab second place at least by getting by him. You can see Don, he's still fighting with his bike a little bit on the outside line there, and Seguin makes a pass on the inside. He's right up under the grass. He's gonna push a little bit out to the outside, and then he's gonna get a nice drive on the inside line here, so he should take over Wenzler's spot here. Getting a little bit of the front wheel up. You got the white flag out. Don's already going into the corner number 1. He's just gonna cruise on through this final lap here. So we're just gonna pay attention to the action here with Don as we come around for the checkers. And taking that top spot in the Expert Open is Don Taylor. So that's a huge win, more points for him. Tyler Seguin getting up to second, so that's pretty admirable. Having a bad start and then getting all the way up to there. And then Nick Wenzler taking the third spot in the number 29. So we're gonna check in with all these riders after this event's done. All the bikes are off and they're in victory lane. We'll talk to the top 3 riders and we'll take it from there. But first, of course, Don Taylor taking his second victory lap of the day out on that very, very clean-looking Harley. Nice sail motor built in there, lots of power. We're going to send it right on down to victory lane and go talk to the boys. Now in that final position, third spot here for the Expert class today, Nick Wenzler, number 29, out here on this solid-looking framer. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this thing?
It's one of Kurt Beeger's bikes. I got it off about 2 seasons ago, and switched over from a DTX to a framer just because I thought they were an official dirt track bike, so I should have one. And they rock and roll. They make tons of traction, but they can get out of hand, so you got to be really on top of things that ride good.
Now, did you ride here last year? And if you did, what did you place last year compared to this year?
Last year I rode here, and I believe I was chasing Tyler down for 3rd, so I ended up 4th. Track got real rough last year and was overwatered for the main, but other than that, Don took off on his Harley, and we just couldn't catch him.
That's all she wrote. Okay, well, taking that 3rd spot today here, Nick Wenzler, number 29. Thanks. Okay, taking that 2nd spot here at round 8 in Woodstock is Tyler Seguin. Now, Tyler, tell us a little bit about what happened with that start of the race there. You kind of fell back, and then you had to fight through the whole pack.
Yeah, I had so much confidence all day, and I was going out in that race, and I was ready to carry those checkers, and I got too excited off the start, and I dumped my clutch, and I thought I jumped at first, and everyone went by, and we came around, and there was a green flag, and I was ticked off for myself, and I just put in some solid laps. I don't even think I let off the throttle for a couple laps, and got some positions back and then came up with a 2nd.
Now with Woodstock today, Woodstock was really, really rough. I mean,
What'd you guys do with the bike? What'd you and Kurt do with the bike to set it up to, handle this rough terrain?
There's when there's so much bumps like that, and on these frame bikes, they're so twitchy already. So it's kind of, all Kurt doing all the work, all the little secrets. But it worked. The bike worked good, and I put in some good laps. And pretty much all I could do.
Right on. Okay, well, why don't you give a quick rundown on those sponsors helping you out?
I'd like to thank Fuzzy Logic, Mike Nappy Ford, Nexus Sports for the new leathers. I'd like to thank Wasner Pistons, 26 suspension. I'd like to thank everyone else that helped me get out here this year and put in a good series.
Right on. Okay, Tyler Seguin, 22, taking second spot today. Today in the expert class, Don Taylor is going to be taking the checkered flag home. Don, that's the second year in a row you've done this. I mean, how you feeling after that ride?
I'm feeling good. It's after the last race at Leamington and Wheatley, I had a bit of a rough weekend. I took a big hit for the points, but it feels good to be back out front again. And Woodstock's one of my favorite tracks. I have a blast riding here, so just definitely can't complain about anything today.
So now with Flattrack Canada, we got a little bit of a break before London, but is there any other racing that you're going to be doing? I hear CMA's got a Belleville race coming up. I mean, you got to fix the bike. So what happened with your bike today?
We actually blew a rear shock, so I went into the main event not really knowing what was going to happen. I had the opportunity to jump on another bike and take a backwards start, but I just kind of wanted to take my chances, and it was definitely a struggle. The track was rough, and with a blown shock, it almost put me on my face a couple times, so I really had to slow up going into the corners. And it's a good thing for the Harley and the 750 power, all the torque it has. I was able to go in a little slower but pick the gas up and drive through all the deep stuff, and just like I said, it was a task to stay on two wheels.
Right on. Okay, well that's another big win for you today, Don, and we're really looking forward to seeing you out at London. So obviously there's a lot of people backing you up, so let's just give a quick rundown.
Definitely thank Harley Davidson Canada, Parts Canada, and Sail Racing, and like I said, all the fans and Flattrack Canada for giving us a great series of racing.
All right, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed. Really? Okay, everyone, that's it for round 8 out here at Woodstock for Flattrack Canada. Now be sure to tune in for August 23rd when we're racing in London at 7 p.m. and we're going to be going under the lights, so it's going to be a whole night of action, and we really hope you can come out and enjoy.